What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with our Week 11 NFL preview and picks. As always, I got my boy Ethan joining me for our weekly video of the picks. But before we get into it, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Get to 200 subscribers, where we'll be doing an autographed giveaway. All you have to do to enter is just hit that subscribe button. But before we get into this week's games, we got to talk about last week's games. A very bad week for both of us, but somehow, some way, I still beat Ethan by one game, and you can thank my Packers pretty much for that. But we'll let Ethan have the floor here. And which game, really stood out to you the most last week?
Well, obviously that Minnesota, the game of the year, that Justin Jefferson catch, that was just a great game all along. Probably one of the best games of the year. But another game I want to focus on would be Detroit and Chicago. Man, I was really banking on Chicago winning that game. Detroit on the road usually tends to they don't score very many points, and Chicago's offense with all those firepower as of late. Cole Kmet, they found their tight end, and so that game, and then that Cleveland Miami game, I don't know really what I was thinking picking Cleveland. As you can see, Miami obviously beat them up. So we
Mhm.
live and we learn.
I think for me, this one is more of a Chargers and 49ers week. It probably gets overlooked because of how many good games and blowouts there were this week, but it really shows that the Niners are legit. They use the committee of Elijah Mitchell and McCaffrey, and they're both going to see probably north of 15 plus touches a game because they run the ball so much. And I like that. The Niners, more than likely, it's going to be either them or the Seahawks that win that division. I'm pretty much counting out the Rams already, and whoever the Cardinals. I mean, they're kind of getting there too in the bottom, and it's really going to be between those two, and that's why I like the Niners' chances. They're a team to look out for right now. They are in a wild card spot, so they could be changing soon. But we don't have any guests this week, but we still have Cam on top. We'll talk about the teams with the bye, and Ethan, you can go first.
Well, the one team that man, we were writing off at the beginning of the season, but now we're like, hold on a second. They're in first place and they're on a bye now. So, they put the best football off their bye, and that's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If you really look at their schedule, they have a lot of winnable games coming up, especially off that bye week, getting a lot of guys healthy. And if it, if they win this division, they're going to have a home playoff game against one of those NFC East teams, which is probably going to be the Giants. So just something to look out for. I think I'd be taking the Bucks there, and it's kind of crazy how we wrote them off, and here's Tom Brady back.
For me, I got to go with the Seahawks, sitting at 6-4 going into the bye. They lost Rashad Penny, quarterback situation coming into the season. We didn't even know who's going to be the starter. And I think any Seahawks fan right now can be happy at 6-4. Going into the season, I think this team was max of 6 wins, and here they are. I don't think they're gonna, lose their next however many games. No way. The Seahawks, the NFC West is pretty much theirs for the taking. It's either them or those Niners I was just talking about, really, in the long run. Rams are struggling. Cardinals have some injuries. And, when you have Kenneth Walker, probably one of the favorites for rookie of the year right now. You just get him the ball some more, really balance out that attack with Geno Smith being really good on play action this year. Seahawks, their defense with Tariq Woolen, rookie, he is pretty solid too, shutting down top wide receivers. So this Seahawks team is, no pun intended, flying under the radar for sure. And then our first game, got my Packers snapping the 5-game losing streak last week against Cowboys. Great game I went to, obviously, great result as well. But now they got a 6-3 Titans team coming into Lambeau, and it's another must-win game for these Packers. Yes, I know the Niners are sitting at 5-4 in the last wild card spot, and they are above 500, but lost this week on Monday Night Football to the Cardinals. They're at 5-5. Packers are at 5-6. Then they're only a half game out of the playoffs. So it's not essentially a must-win as it was last week, but a win would obviously be great. And I think they're going to do it on the back of Aaron Jones.
Yeah, I'm with you here. It's mostly because it's a must win for them. I mean, if they don't win, their chances of making the playoffs are very, very low, in my opinion. They got to beat the Vikings. They got to beat the Vikings. They got to beat the Bears again. So they got some tough matchups coming up, and this is going to be a physical game. So it could go either way. I really think it could go either way, but I'm taking the Packers just because of that reason, really.
And then moving over to Sunday, We got the Bears going on the road against the Falcons, and this Falcons team was in first place in the division just a few weeks ago. And now here they are at 4-6 on a 2-game losing streak. And the Bears obviously have been playing some really good football, but haven't had much to show for it of late. And I think this is where they're finally going to get rewarded. They won't be able to stop Justin Fields running the ball at all. They're atrocious against stopping the run. Deonta Foreman ran all over him last week. And, Herbert's on the IR. So more than likely, Fields is going to get even more touches than he has before. Him and Montgomery are going to dominate, and the Bears are going to win.
Yeah, and Bears are also the number one rushing attack in all of football. So that matchup is just not good. I think the Bears are going to control the clock as long as they don't have those silly mistakes. But ruling that out, I'm going to say the Bears are going to win it and run the ball all over that Falcons defense.
Then we got more than likely another blowout here for the Ravens coming off of the bye week. John Harbaugh is great off of the bye. And, they're playing the Panthers, who we don't even know what quarterback's going to play this week. Could be all three for all we know. Even PJ Walker with his high ankle sprain. Who knows if he's going to play. But it's not going to come down to any of that because the Ravens are just going to dominate. Lamar has been playing at an MVP level, even with we don't even know who his top target is the last few weeks because Mark Andrews has been out, Bateman's been out. And once this team gets fully healthy, I think towards the end of the year, a lot of people aren't going to bet on the Ravens probably to make Super Bowl run. And don't be too shocked if this team ends up in the AFC Championship.
Yeah, 100% with you there. First of all, with this game, the Ravens should run all over the Panthers, just a much better team. And as you said, off the bye, I think that's huge. Ravens are always very good off a bye. So yeah, the Ravens should definitely win this game. And I'm with you. They're going to be in that contention with the Ravens, Bengals, Chiefs, Dolphins, Bills. If I'm missing any teams, I'm sorry, but yeah, it's gonna be really interesting. And I think the Ravens are for real this year, and they're gonna be solid in the playoffs.
And then we got the game being played in Detroit as of tonight. We got the Browns going to Buffalo or going to Detroit, going to play the Bills. And it doesn't matter where this game's going to be played. The Bills are going to dominate. Browns can't stop anybody right now. Obviously, Miami put up 39 on them last week. And you got an even better offense this week. And there's no weather conditions. So, that would have played into the Browns' hands a lot better, because they ground and pound through the whole game. But they're going to be down early in this one. And I expect Buffalo to win big.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Home field's not going to be in effect. Actually might be in effect towards the Cleveland Browns because it's closer to them. Bills are the better team for sure. Browns, I could see them fighting along with them as the way Josh Allen's been playing, making just turn the ball over. So I think the Bills get on track here, but upset alert, it's always possible. This Browns team, they're fighters. I don't think they can go down 3-7.
And then we got the high-rise Commanders going against the worst team in the NFL, the Texans. Give me Heinicke and those Commanders. They play exceptional when Heinicke is the starting quarterback. Maybe his play, isn't top 10 fantasy or top 10 quarterback of the league, but hey, they're asking for a quarterback that can get wins, and he's doing that right now. Carson Wentz more than likely is going to be the backup QB the rest of the year when he's fully healthy. And, Chase Young is expected back for this game to make his debut this year. So this Commanders team is going to be getting better each game, and the run game has really taken off here in the last few weeks as well.
Yep, with you there. Washington been playing really good football. Stunning the Eagles last week. Talk about the Texans, though. Our predictions had them around 1 win, and they already have that, obviously. But didn't they start the year 1-0-1?
Yeah. Yep.
7 straight. Not very good for the Texans. Obviously, the worst team in the football. No real interesting thing about this game. I mean, I'm going to have it on if I'm watching Red Zone, but obviously I'm not going to be watching this game very much.
And then we got the Eagles coming off of their first loss against those Commanders. And you got the Colts getting their first win under Jeff Saturday against the Raiders. And I think this storyline is going to be a great one because the Eagles can't stop the run. In the last 2 games, I think they've given up almost 160 yards per game. And now you go against Jonathan Taylor, who had his first real good game of the year since week 1 because of Jeff Saturday and how he wants to run the ball. And if he has a similar game, I think this could go another way. Yes, I know they just signed Ndamukong Suh, but how many snaps is he really going to get? for a Sunday game that he just got signed on Thursday. So he'll be there for one practice Friday, a walkthrough Saturday. Who knows? Maybe he'll get in there on third downs and just go rush the quarterback. But I like the Colts to cover this one here. I think it will be a very close game in the end, but I think the Eagles will prevail.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Colts getting that run game going last week was huge for Jonathan Taylor, and that offense obviously winning, which was really surprising to both of us. I mean, we both picked the Raiders last week. You know how those Raiders are, though, so you can't trust them.
Mhm.
But the Colts, I think they're going to cover as well. Very close game. It's all about how you respond for the Eagles, though. So if they can respond and win this game, they're going to be in a very good shape. If not, it's going to be a tough one for them.
And then we got the Jets going on the road to the Patriots. And I like the Jets here just because, well, they got a really good defense. These teams are both coming off of a bye week, and it's going to come down to quarterback play. And I think weapons as well. And besides Stevenson and Harris for the Patriots, the wide receiver core and tight end group is not the best for those Patriots. And it's going to come down to Mac Jones. It's more than likely going to be cold out because it's only 38 for the over under. And I like the Jets here playing, going on the road, getting a tough win to cement that they are a really solid team this year.
Yeah, I can see that happening. I think this is going to be a really close game. Obviously, with the spread only being 3.5 towards New England. But I'm going to take New England here because Bill Belichick off a bye at home. They're going to have a plan to run the football, and I think they're going to succeed doing it. I think Mac Jones is going to be just good enough to win this game. I think it's going to be a good game. Very entertaining. If you like defensive football, you're really gonna like this one. But I'm gonna take the Patriots here. It just feels like the right play for me here.
And then we got another disagreement. Saints, Rams, two disappointment of teams. Andy Dalton is getting the nod this week at the starter. Next week could be up in the air. But if you're gonna go off of what they're putting on the field, you gotta go Olave and Kamara versus whoever is gonna get the most touches out of the Rams backfield versus Allen Robinson right now because Cup's on the IR. So I know it's going to probably come down to defense in this one just because, the Rams do have a better defense on paper, but they haven't been playing like it this year. And I think this one in the Superdome, the Saints can walk out with a much needed victory.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough game for the Rams, but I think they're gonna get it done. I don't see them dropping down to 3-7. That'd be a really bad Super Bowl hangover from last year. I think Allen Robinson's gonna score a touchdown. I think Kyron Williams is a big guy to watch though, because he was a really impressive in camp and everything, but then he got injured. So I think now that he came back last week, played all right, got some touches. I think this week he's gonna have a good game, along with Darrell Henderson and all the guys. But Allen Robinson's gonna have a good game. I think the Rams will finally get it back on track a little bit with Stafford supposedly active on Sunday.
And then we got the Lions going on the road to face the Giants. And Vegas just doesn't show any love to the Giants at all this year. They haven't been favored in most games, still get the win. They're finally favored at home, and it's only by 3. But you got to give Detroit credit here. They won their first road game under Dan Campbell last week in Chicago. Then they won the week before at home against the Packers. So they got a little win streak going here. And they've been playing some good football, really competing against some good teams. And they've been keeping it close in a lot of games, almost beat the Vikings earlier in the year. I mean, the Lions at 3-6, their record doesn't define, in my opinion, how they have been playing. They've been playing at least 500 football at worst, in my opinion. But I got to go with the Giants just because they're kind of the dream team that no one saw coming. What is it? Vanilla Vic, as Saquon Barkley likes to call Daniel Jones. He's been playing exceptional as well. He has less turnovers than Josh Allen has this year, and he isn't getting enough credit for what he is doing for this Giants awful offense. Obviously the new head coach has vamped his performance as well, as long as the offense. And once they finally can figure out a stable wide receiver room, maybe adding Odell to that room, could be a very solid Giants team when we get into December.
Yeah, 100% agreed there. I think this defense and obviously Saquon Barkley have been what's been that motor for this car all year. I mean, 7-2 is a really good start, especially for what we had them as. Very surprising, and I think 3-point favorites is. I feel like that's almost right because the Lions didn't just come off that win against the Bears where they show you they can score points now. I mean, that offense can move the ball down the field. it's going to come down to whoever makes the least amount of mistakes. And I do trust that Giants run game and Daniel Jones slightly more than the Lions offense. Taking the
Then
Giants.
moving over to the 4 o'clock games, we got, well, the two biggest disappointments I think you can say in the AFC so far this year. Same division in the AFC West. This game, I think, makes or breaks your season for either team. And it's going to obviously be more of a factor for Denver. And you're going to look at defense because Denver's defense ranks among one of the best this year, but their offense is obviously one of the worst. And I looked at a stat. I think if the Broncos scored like 13 or 14 points a game, if they average that, I think they would be 7-2 right now. So if they can score 2 touchdowns, more than likely they're going to win this game because the defense just has been really good.
Yeah, I'm with you there. That defense has been really solid. I just can't trust the Raiders anymore, man. Like they just blow games against the teams that are worse than them. And somehow the offense still looks good. They just don't end up winning the games. Just a flag, penalties, and it's just crazy the way the Raiders have been losing this year. So I got to take the Broncos in this one. Hopefully Russell can start cooking a little bit and maybe get them on a little push to go over 500 here in the next few weeks.
And then we got the primetime game of the week. Dallas going on the road to Minnesota. Minnesota obviously getting that huge win last week in Buffalo. Dallas coming off of a tough road loss in Green Bay. No one's given the Vikings credit. I get that they're, 8-1 and they should be one of the best teams in the league, right? Well, in my power rankings, we had them at 1 for the first time. And I got to give it to them, because they're 8-1. I don't think anyone saw this start happening. Justin Jefferson has been playing well. Dalvin Cook's healthy for the whole year, which is insane. And, adding TJ Hawkinson is just even better for this offense, gives them more weapons, and they can go any which way on offense. And I think that's going to be tough for the Cowboys to stop because they had a tough time stopping just Christian Watson last week. Only 4 catches for 3 touchdowns and over 100 yards. And now when you got 4 more weapons on the field, you can say, good luck. I know this Cowboys defense has been good, but is it going to be really good to stop those Vikings?
Yeah, I agree. The Vikings are obviously one of the best teams in the league right now. But high intensity game, coming off a very high intensity game against the Buffalo Bills, coming away with that win obviously was huge for them. But I think it is possible the Cowboys are going to win this game coming off of a disappointing loss. I mean, they were up 14 in the fourth quarter. So the Cowboys did have control of that game. They ended up blowing it. I think they're going to get back on track here against the Vikings. And I think this is going to be a very entertaining game. Like you said, the Vikings receivers, Vikings pass catchers, that whole offense has been great. Just been moving the ball down the field, very, very efficient. But I think the Cowboys are going to run the ball effective and score some points and play great defense against this Vikings team, keep it close, and end up winning it.
And then we got the Bengals going on the road to face your Steelers, who looked exceptional last week against the Saints. TJ Watt obviously back and made a huge impact. Didn't really have a huge box sheet, box score, fill up the box score a lot. But he made an impact in the game, and you could tell that the Steelers defense just had a different motor in them. Now you got the Bengals off of a bye week. Jamar is more than likely coming back after this game. And they also got revenge on their mind because of that week 1 overtime loss at home. And I think that's going to motivate them even more. I'm sure they had this game circled on the schedule since that week 1 loss. And just because of that motivation, I got to go with the Bengals on the road.
Yeah, I'm taking the Steelers in this one. I mean, TJ Watt's back, or second full game, I guess, for TJ Watt. And you can see the improvements on that Steelers defense. When that offense can actually, move it a little bit and get some first downs, it's really going to help this defense out, which is really not bad at all. I mean, that first week, they had 8 sacks and 3 turnovers or something crazy like that. So that was ever since TJ Watt was out, they just haven't been the same. But I do think the Steelers are going to win this game. I mean, they are rocking the all black color rush unis. That's really exciting. It's going to be a very good game, and I'm very excited to watch it. But I do think there's a world, obviously, I'm not a biased Steelers fan. I do think there's a world where the Bengals come in here and take it to the Steelers. I mean, that offense has been moving the ball very well in Cincinnati. Joe Burrow, obviously. So it's something to watch for. I think it's going to be a good game, but I can't pick against my Steelers.
Then capping off the night game, we got the Chargers, who have been kind of disappointing this year at 5-4. And you got the Chiefs at 7-2, yet again winning the division. And I want to take the Chargers here because it's a much needed win. They played them close in Arrowhead in week 2. The Chiefs are just on a whole new level. Every year, someone's comparing the best quarterback that year to Mahomes. Oh, is Mahomes going to stay elite? Blah, 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 every single year. And he's putting up MVP numbers. MVP award is pretty much a quarterback award nowadays. And it looks like it's going to be going to Mahomes after this year. He's, threw it for 68 times in a game, just a few weeks ago. And my fantasy team has been loving it. I'm sure the Chiefs fans are loving it. But a storyline to watch out for is Juju more than likely is out for this game. I don't know if they've already ruled him out. And Mecole Hardman has been put on the IR as of an hour ago. So if you got Kadarius Toney to the moon for sure in this game, because he had a big showing last week. We'll expect another big showing this week, in my opinion. And he and Kelsey are looking like the guys in this offense moving forward. Besides the running game, who knows what's going on there? Clyde Edwards-Helaire more than likely won't get his contract picked up at the end of the year. So he could be dealt in the offseason as well because they're looking for Pacheco and McKinnon to get more involved.
Yeah, and I got Kadarius Toney and Travis Kelce in one of my leagues, so that's really exciting. I think that's going to be fun. The Chiefs, I just think that as a chance to win this division right now, I don't think they're going to mess around. And when the Chiefs aren't looking ahead and they're focused on this game, it's going to be really tough to beat them no matter what with the play calling and Patrick Mahomes, like you said, the MVP year he's having. This game was close in week 2, but the teams just don't feel the same. The momentum doesn't feel the same between the two teams. The Chargers, they had the high hopes, and it just kind of seems like it's crumbling a little bit, especially if the Chiefs win it here. More than likely, we'll be wrapping up this division.
And then capping off our week, we got Monday Night Football. We got the Niners going on the road to Arizona, who needs the win to stay afloat in this division. And it could be done. I don't like that -8 if I'm in Arizona. I think it could be a different story. D-Hop more than likely has pretty much been not comeback player of the year since he's been back, but, because they're not going to give him that award. But his impact on the team since he has been back is just a complete turnaround. They're also getting Marquise Brown more than likely either this week, he'll get some snaps, or next week because they activated him from the IR for the practice window. Robbie Anderson, he needs to figure out how he can get more targets and catch the ball. But, them releasing Benjamin really made it a big sign for me that James Conner is going to be involved every single chance he can. And he's looked solid these last 2 weeks now that he's fully healthy. I expect another big workload from him. And maybe the Cardinals get the big upset at home. I'm not saying they're going to, because I got to go with the Niners and McCaffrey and Mitchell, and their run game has been excellent. But don't be too surprised if the Cardinals, keep this one close and even pull off the upset.
Yeah. Do we know if Kyler Murray's active yet?
Not yet, but I think he's trending upwards.
So if Kyler Murray plays, I could definitely see your point there. That offense has been good, but I just trust that Niners offense and defense. I mean, their defense has been spectacular this year. Monday Night Football, that's a lot to ask for Jimmy G, but the weapons that they have, I mean, Jimmy G could throw the ball 5 times and they'd be effective and win the game running the ball. Give McCaffrey the ball 20 times, give Mitchell the ball 20 times.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Mitchell's averaging like 8 or 9 yards per carry this year. I know he has a really small workload, but that's just the type of runner he is. And it's going to be a good game. I'm excited to keep watching this Niners team grow every week. So I'm going to take the Niners, obviously. I think it's going to be a good game. And I could see the Cardinals covering the spread. I guess we'll have to see on Monday night.
But that's going to be it for our video this week. Make sure you guys come back next week to see how we did on our picks this week and our picks for next week as well. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Get us to 200 subscribers. We will be doing that giveaway. But until next time, the Bench Buddies are out.